Good evening, greetings everyone. Aziz Muhammad here. Just wanted to come to you for a few minutes, and we're going to have a quick conversation on something that I found recently while studying the Bible. Now, let me say right off the bat, okay, this is not to be a confrontational type situation. I'm not trying to knock what anyone believes. It's actually just going to be a conversation so that we can get a better understanding of some things. So whatever you believe, that's great. We don't necessarily have to believe the same, but we just want to have a conversation, an adult conversation, so to speak. So with that being said, I was recently looking at a couple scriptures. John, the 20th chapter, verses 1 through 18, Matthew, the 28th chapter, verses 1 through 9, and Mark, the 16th chapter, verses 1 through 15. Both of these, all three of these, basically gives an account of what happened at the, the Bible talks about how Jesus was in the sepulcher and the stone was rolled away, and that whole account of the resurrection is what we're discussing here today. So with that being said, I want to share my screen because I actually put a post up on one of my Facebook pages, and we can actually read from there because it's right here and available. So we're going to start off with John, the 20th chapter, verses 1 through 18. So let's read. The first day of the week cometh Mary Magdalene early, when it was yet dark, unto the sepulchre, and seeth the stone taken away from the sepulchre. Then she runneth and cometh to Simon Peter, and to the other disciple whom Jesus loved, and said unto them, They have taken away the Lord out of the sepulchre, and we know not where they have laid him. Peter therefore went forth, and that other disciple. I find that interesting that they just say that other disciple as if they don't know who the disciple was. But anyway, Peter therefore went forth, and that other disciple, and came to the sepulchre. So they ran both together, and the other disciple did outrunneth Peter. So the other disciple was a little fast. Whoever he was faster than Peter. Okay, so he outran Peter and came first to the sepulchre. And he, stooping down and looking in, saw the linen clothes lying, yet went he not in. So he stooped down, he looked in, he saw the clothes, Jesus' clothes lying there, but he didn't go in. He just stooped down and looked in and saw the clothes lying there. Then cometh Simon Peter following him, and went into the sepulchre, and seeth the linen clothes lie. Now y'all gonna forgive me because a lot of times when I read stuff, I think about today's time. This was written, you know how the King James Bible is written, the way they speak with the these and the thous and stuff. And a lot of times I'm reading it, but I'm thinking in today's vernacular, So, in a situation like this, Peter would have been like, man, you can run fast, right? So, because the other disciple outran him, but then Peter came to the sepulchre, following him, and went into the sepulchre and seeth the linen clothes lie. So Peter actually went in. And the napkin that was about his head, not lying with the, it wasn't lying with the other clothes, but was wrapped together in a place by itself. Okay. Then went in also that other disciple, which came first to the sepulchre, and he saw and believed. So, when I read that, I was kind of wondering what he believed. So it said he saw and he believed. So believed what? For as yet they knew not the scripture, that he must rise again from the dead. So, that verse right there kind of canceled out my initial thought, because I was thinking he saw and he believed, and I was thinking, well, maybe they knew of the scripture, that said that Jesus would rise again, and that's what he believed. But then this ninth verse kind of debunks that, because it says they had not yet known the scripture that he must rise again from the dead. So I'm not sure what he believed. But verse 10 says, then the disciples went away again into their own home. And I found that interesting. So you got two disciples. They see that Jesus is gone. His clothes is there, but his body is gone. Okay. And then the disciples went away again unto their own home. So they just went home. Like, yeah, he gone. That's it. They just went home. Like, I mean, it seemed like they would have just ran telling everybody that Jesus was gone, but no, they went home. Okay. But Mary stood without at the sepulchre weeping. And as she wept, she stooped down and looked into the sepulchre, and seeth two angels in white sitting, the one at the head and the other at the feet, where the body of Jesus had lain. And they say unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? She says unto them, Because they have taken away my Lord, and I know not where they have laid him. And when she had thus said, she turned herself back and saw Jesus standing, and knew not that it was Jesus. So I found that interesting, because this is Mary Magdalene. I mean, it's debatable, but some say that this was Jesus's, she had been a prostitute, remember, and Jesus had, cast some demons out. Anyway, it's debatable, but some say that this was his main lady. Like, she really knew Jesus, right? So she didn't recognize him. And then she turned and then back around, and then she recognized him. Jesus said unto her, Woman, why weepest thou? Whom seekest thou? Now, that's a weird question. Whom seekest thou? She, supposing him to be the gardener, so she thought Jesus was the gardener, said unto him, Sir, if thou have borne him hence, tell me where thou hast laid him, and I will take him away. Jesus said unto her, Mary. She turned herself and said unto him, Rabboni, which is to say, Master. Jesus said unto her, Touch me not, for I am not yet ascended to my Father, but go to my brethren and say unto them, I ascended unto my Father and your Father, and to my God and your God. Mary Magdalene came and told the disciples that she had seen the Lord, and that he had spoken these things unto her. So the reason he kind of said, don't touch me, is because he hadn't descended yet. He was full of majesty and power and glory. So for her to touch him would have been overwhelming to her. And actually probably could have killed her. Like, she wouldn't have been able to stand that energy, that spirit. All right. So he said, don't touch me, because I have not descended yet. But anyway, so that's the account given by John, 20th chapter, 1 through 18. Now let's look at Matthew's account. In the end of the Sabbath, as it began to dawn towards the first day of the week, came Mary Magdalene and the other Mary to see the sepulchre. Now, stop right there. In John, it was dark, right? When Mary Magdalene came. In Matthew, now began to dawn. That means the sun is coming up. It's getting light, okay? Now Mary Magdalene is no longer by herself. but she's with the other Mary. Okay, so you know Mary Martha. Okay, that other Mary. Okay, so verse 2, and behold, there was a great earthquake, for the angel of the Lord descended from heaven and came and rolled back the stone from the door and sat upon it. So in the first verse, when Mary got there, the stone was gone and she was by herself. I mean, in John, not the first verse, but in John, she came by herself. The stone was already rolled away. In Matthew, she came with somebody else and the stone was still there, but then an angel descended. There was a great earthquake, and then the angel rolled away the stone. Okay? His countenance was like lightning, and his remnant white as snow. And for fear of him, the keepers did shake and become as dead men. So they fainted pretty much. They became as dead men. They fainted. And the angel answered and said unto the woman, fear not ye, for I know that ye seek Jesus, which was crucified. He is not here, for he is risen. And he said, come, see the place where the Lord lay. And go quickly and tell his disciples that he is risen from the dead. And behold, he goeth, and let me see here, before you into Galilee, there shall ye see him. Lo, I have told you. And they departed quickly from the sepulchre with fear and great joy, and did run to bring his disciples word. And as they went to tell his disciples, behold, Jesus met them, saying, all hail. And they came and held him by the feet and worshiped him. So I guess in this account, it was okay to touch him. You know, they held him by the feet and worshiped him. Now let's move on to Mark. And when the Sabbath was past, Mary Magdalene and Mary, the mother of James, and Salome had brought sweet spices that they might come and anoint him. So I find that a little odd because he's in the tomb, and this tomb has this big stone in front of it, right? As far as they know. So how are they going to anoint him? Who's going to roll the stone back? But anyway, and very early in the morning, the first day of the week, they came unto the sepulchre at the rising of the sun. So remember in John, when it was dark, and now at the rising of the sun. Okay, verse 3, and they said among themselves, who shall roll away the stone from the door of the sepulchre? So actually, they asked themselves the question, who's going to roll that stone away? So, you know, it's a little poor planning, but at least they, you know, they mentioned that. And when they looked, they saw that the stone was rolled away, for it was very great. And entering into the sepulchre, they saw a young man sitting on the right side. So it's not an angel descending. It's not one angel at the head, one at the foot anymore. It's just a young man sitting on the right side, clothed in a long white garment, but he's still wearing white. And they were affrighted. And he said unto them, be not affrighted. Ye seek Jesus of Nazareth, which was crucified. He is risen. He is not here. Behold, the place where they laid him. But go your way. Tell his disciples and Peter that he goeth before you into Galilee. There shall you see him, as he said unto you. And they went out quickly and fled from the sepulchre, for they trembled and were amazed. Neither said they anything to any man, for they were afraid. So they left out of there afraid and didn't say anything to anybody. Then it goes into verse 9 where it says, now when Jesus was risen early the first day of the week, he appeared first to Mary Magdalene, out of whom he had cast 7 devils. So that's that verse kind of threw me off, because if you go back to verse 1, Mary is going to the sepulcher, but then you look at verse 9, and now Jesus was risen early the first day of the week and appeared first to Mary Magdalene. So it's like I don't know. It's like a contradiction there. That threw me off a little bit. But so the purpose of this video is to get some feedback. Obviously, I went over, I read out of 3 different books, 3 different accounts of what happened. You know, John, Matthew, and Mark is 3 different accounts of what happened. You know, in one account it was dark, in one account it was dawn. In one account Mary was alone. Mary Magdalene was alone. In one account she had the other Mary. In one account the stone was moved away. In another account the angel descended and rolled the stone back. In one account there was 2 angels inside. One account there was a little boy inside. So as you can see, there's a lot of discrepancies. So I'm trying to get some feedback so that we can clear up some of these things and give a reason for the discrepancies. So you can find these scriptures on my Facebook page. As you can see here, it's Ikra, which is an Arabic word that means read. So I'm looking forward to y'all giving me some feedback, and let's kind of get to the bottom of why we have these discrepancies. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. But I'm looking forward to some feedback, and I'm looking forward to making the next video to discuss some of that feedback. And if I don't get any feedback, I'm gonna make another video anyway, but it'll be much better if we can get some dialogue and some feedback and discuss some of those things. So that being said, bye-bye for now. Continue to read. You know, the scriptures say, study to show thyself approved. So be ye not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to renew some minds here. We're trying to elevate some people, and we're trying to get people to read. More importantly, we're trying to get people to think. So bye-bye for now. See Aziz out.